what do you think about collaboration in the industry? What would what do we need to do to take the sustainability work to the next level?
Yeah, there are so many opportunities for the textile and apparel industry and many other industries to work together at both the pre-competitive sector at the pre-competitive stage, and then also at the post-competitive stage. So if you think about the lifespan of a cotton t-shirt, for example, a lot of the work that the Sustainable Apparel Coalition does is before the product even makes it to the design phase or the manufacture phase. There's a lot of things that could help improve the industry at that level, where these companies, big brands, can be working together to improve their practices. And Sustainable Apparel Coalition has done a fantastic job at that. And then I think there's also opportunities once the product has moved through the consumer and at the end of life, there's also opportunities to collaborate more on the post-consumer waste avenue, and helping them to figure out like how do we collaborate on possible ways to recycle or repurpose or repair. So I think there's many opportunities if brands are thinking about collaboration from both pre and post competitive collaboration. Collaborative environments require a lot of trust, and I think setting up and staging an environment where people feel like they can share information in a safe space, and have permission to be vulnerable and maybe share things that they wouldn't normally share with their competitors is the key. One thing that we often do is ask folks what they might be afraid of, and we write all that stuff down and then park it at the door, and then go back and say, okay, what are you not afraid of? And so we work with some of the things that they might not be afraid of and start there. And what always happens is they're so surprised at what's available in terms of what they're not afraid of, and that's what's informed me on my learning in terms of pre-consumer and post-consumer collaborations, because those are the areas where the market could drastically improve, work together, and they're not feeling like they're shy to share that information.
So there's a view forming that the circular apparel idea, vision, may just be an excuse to fuel more growth and consumption, a license to keep growing. Do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I think, like, theoretically, it makes a lot of sense, but for somebody like myself, I have 2 degrees in sustainability. My master's is in science of sustainability, and all signs would point towards that theory being correct. But in practice, what I know is that change happens from the people, and that education is where people are able to change their mindset. If you look at the theory behind Leverage Lab, it's based on Donella Meadows' thinking of the leverage points for change, and the biggest lever is around changing the mindset of an individual. And so if you think about it from that perspective in terms of how it's actually applied in real life, we really need to start somewhere. And the more that the sooner we can begin to start recycling, the sooner we're able to educate people who are the designers, the brands, the folks who are working at the brands, in the brands, I mean, and also the consumers. And so I think it's a step in the right direction. And I would hate to see questioning it hold us from doing anything.
Are there any particular actors that have today a particular extra influence that could really make a difference if they acted?
Yeah, of course. There's many different levers for change. I really do believe that the consumer, especially if you look at millennial studies, who are voting with their jobs and with their dollars, companies are paying attention to that. They're really wanting to know, they're wanting to recruit top talent, retain top talent, and the more they know that millennials who are graduating with degrees, with good grades and good marks and ability to think outside of the box, they're wanting to recruit those folks. So that's a lever. I think my personal theory of change is that businesses have the climate and the know-how to be able to move quickly without red tape, specifically like maybe family-owned businesses who are smaller, So I think that's a lever. Making statements. You see Patagonia doing amazing things with their company, with their brand. They're making incredible political statements. I still believe that policymakers have a huge role to play in learning from the early adopters and bringing the rest of us together by instituting policy change. Here in Vancouver, we just banned straws and styrofoam cups and takeout containers, which will be instigated in 2019. So that's a huge win for us here and will have a major impact on our landfills locally.
So if you could change one thing that you think would have the biggest impact to accelerate change.
I think it would be amazing to have the entire apparel industry incentivized to rent their clothing instead of a take, make, waste model. It would be a borrow, use, return, and I think that would shift the onus onto apparel makers and have them be more responsible to the product at all stages of its life.